Okay, fantastic. Welcome, welcome. Gain clarity in credentialing. That is my task. I take it very seriously and I am intent on making that so for you today. So, as I say, any questions you've got as we go through the presentation, please do pop them into the chat and I will answer them as we go through. And also, we've got time at the end. So that's a little bit about me. I am an MCC coach. As from the 1st of January this year, that's the day that I decided to pick for my credentialing exam, a seminal day. Unfortunately, it paid off because I passed. I'm a holistic, inclusive relationship coach. What I spend a lot of time doing is working on a lovely bunch of humans who are training for their ICF Certified Relationship Coach diploma. I also have my own small and perfectly formed cohort of people that I coach. So I coach individuals and I coach duos as well. Oh, just checking the chat as we go through to see if there are any questions. Oh, congratulations. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. Why, thank you for congratulating me. Thank you. Yeah, that's lovely. I'm also an inclusion consultant and trainer. That comes up a lot in the work that I do as a coach trainer and supervisor, and also a coach mentor and all the things, and a TEDx speaker, Survivor's Guide to Jealousy. If that's part of your story in terms of your relationship, check it out. It's a good one. It's a couple of years old now, but I'm still getting lots of emails and jobs actually from people who have seen the TED Talk and want me to coach them. So that was something I didn't realize would happen. So that's me. The stats. According to a ICF study on the 30th of November 2025, there were 59,646 ICF credentials in 160 countries. Level one, and we'll go into this more. We're going to go into all the terminologies, going to answer all those questions. Level one, about 50% of people who are credentialed at a level one, 46% of people who are credentialed are at level two, and there's just 4% of us who are at level three. And that source, you can have a look at that source. It is fascinating because it breaks everything down by country. And there are some really interesting statistics about where are all the level threes hanging out? Where are all the level ones hanging out? It's fascinating. So do check that out if you want to. But that's what we're working on. We're working on the gold standard. As we know, the International Coaching Federation is the largest and longest running body for us coaches. So why wouldn't we want to be credentialed by them? Terminology. Now, this is where there are too many words on a slide for a start. And I'm going to break things down as simply as I can. As I say, there is a lot to take in, so feel free to take notes. You'll have the recording, you can go back over it. The levels. We start with a certificate. Potentially, you might get a certificate. A certificate is issued by a training school, and it's not necessarily endorsed by a recognised body like ICF. There are loads of certificates in coaching that you can get. You've seen them online. Facebook is telling you about a £19 certificate in coaching neurodivergent people, and that's what it is, and it's got nothing to do with ICF. That's fine. If that's your bag, might be some interesting stuff in there. Go for it. Then we move to a certification or a diploma. I run the ICF Certified Relationship Coach Diploma, and this is issued by an ICF accredited organisation. So we've jumped through hoops. I had to fill out forms. I had to send all sorts of documentation to make sure that I was presenting a course that was aligned with the ICF core competencies, the ICF code of ethics. All of that stuff was aligned. So you have a certification or a diploma that is accredited by ICF. My students who go through the ICF Certified Relationship Coach Diploma, some of them then go on to credentialing. So credentials are issued by ICF. A certification or a diploma is issued by my training company, AH Coaching and Training, endorsed so accredited by ICF. So I give them the diploma, whereas a credential is issued by ICF. Okay, it's issued directly by ICF, and it's either a level 1 ACC, a level 2 PCC, a level 3 MCC, and it needs renewing every 3 years. Obviously, you don't have to renew it if you're applying for your next level up. And accreditation, and this is where we all get confused, an accreditation is awarded to a school, a training school by ICF, and it allows them to then provide accredited training. All the time I hear people saying, "Oh, I am accredited by ICF," and you're not. You're credentialed by ICF, or you're certified, or you've got a diploma from an ICF accredited organisation. So an accreditation is something that is given to an organisation, a training school. Just to confuse things, so we've got the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. There are other smaller organisations. So there's EMCC, which is the European version of ICF. So it's smaller and it covers European. I decided to be credentialed by the International Coaching Federation because I have clients all over the world. Because it helped with my insurance and working with people in all sorts of different countries. But I could have got a credential from the EMCC, which is the European version. The European version do accredit humans rather than organizations. So I can see where the confusion is, but we're here for ICF, right? We're here for ICF. So when you use the word credential, you are talking about something that has been issued to you by ICF. When we're talking about accreditation, we are talking about an organisation that has been accredited by ICF to issue certifications or diplomas. I hope that's clear. Always happy to go over things. So what are these ICF credential levels of which you speak, Ali? Well, we have level 1, which is ACC, Associate Certified Coach, level 2, PCC, Professional Certified Coach, and level 3 MCC, Master Certified Coach. Yes, patriarchy alive and well. So now this is where, again, we've got a confusion because yes, they are termed certified and they are credentials. I know. An associate certified coach is a credentialed coach, even though it would be great if ICF called it an associate credentialed coach, but they don't. And that's okay. They're doing them. What we know is that although it says the word certified, it is a credential. So just trying to make things clearer there. When you are when you are becoming a certified coach, you have to complete some training hours. And there are different ways that you can complete these training hours. You might complete these training hours by doing CCEs, which are Continuing Coach Education Hours, CCE, Continuing Coach Education Hours. And my company, AH Coaching and Training, has the power. I've got the power of giving 40 CCEs for my Certified Relationship Coach diploma. I had to jump through the hoops. I had to make sure I filled out all the forms and I was fulfilling all the core competencies and the code of ethics, etc., with my course. So CCEs, you can use those CCEs to go towards your credentialing. Sometimes they're called CCEUs, which is a continuing coach education unit. Sometimes they're called units, and a unit is an hour. So my students do at least 40 hours of CCEs. Units are hours, same thing. We've then got some schools that operate on levels, and some of you I know in this space are in a school at the moment, which is either a level 1 or a level 2 or a level 3. And what that means is that they have jumped through the ICF hoops to either provide a diploma for someone to then take to ICF and say, hey, I've got this diploma, it's a level 1 diploma, and then ICF will issue that credential, right? So the school Could be a level one school, so they can obviously take you up to level one, or a level two school, so you can do level one or level two, or a level three school, where you could do either your level one, your level two, or your level three training. And their version of a CCE is called Coach Specific Education Hours. Snappy little title. So what this level school that has got these levels will do is they will provide the coach specific education hours. They will also provide things like your 10 hours of mentoring, the performance evaluation assessment. Don't worry, I'm going to go through all this in a minute, amongst other things. When a training school is either getting their CCEs or they're getting their approval to do their levels, they have to do different types of training hours. They have to provide synchronous and asynchronous hours. Why do we have to have these words? Why? Anyway, that's just what they call them. And basically, a synchronous, and I'm saying this because you'll see this in some of the sort of the materials that coaching schools talk about, and I don't know about. I'm just kind of like, what does it mean? A synchronous hour is basically a live training hour on Zoom or in person, and an asynchronous hour are the self-study hours. So, for example, in the relationship coach training diploma, you've got the live Zooms over the 2 months, and you've also got 4 months to complete the syllabus, and that's self-study hours, and you know count up your hours as you're doing your syllabus. Okay, are you still with me? Are you still with me? Pop into the chat whether you're with me or not. Yes, maybe no. Let me know. How are we doing? Where are we at? Are you with me? Yes, maybe no. Tick. Or put it in put a thumbs up. We've got a comment saying, if ICF ever changes it, pretty cool that the letters are the same, certified versus credentialed. I know. It wouldn't cause a ruck to change it. I agree. Yep, still with you, following closely. Fantastic. Let me know where you're at. Okay, great. Let's carry on. So, if you are applying for your credentials, you might apply through CCEs, or you might apply through the schools that provide these levels. If you're applying through CCE, so for example, my lot who are doing their 40, getting their 40 hours, they would be applying for their credentials through the portfolio path, which is where you put together a package of all the stuff you've done for your credential. I will go through everything that you require for your credentials in a minute. So with CCEs, it's kind of like independent work. I'm gathering all the bits and pieces I need for my credentials. I then go on to the ICF website and create a profile, and then I upload all the bits and pieces that are required for credentialing. With the level schools, it's simpler in a way because you're doing all of the stuff with them. So they are providing the mentoring hours. You don't need to go off and search for them as you would with the CCEs. They are looking at your performance evaluation. Your performance evaluation is basically the recording of you coaching someone else that they're looking at to make sure that you are coaching at level one or level two or level three. Okay, so the school will do all the nuts and bolts and the bits and pieces, whereas with the CCEs, you're gathering all those bits of information, and I'll go through that in a minute. Once you have gathered all your bits of information, which I'll be talking about in a moment, then the credentialing exam is the last thing you do. So you need to have done all the bits and bobs, then you can apply for the credentialing exam. Once you've submitted everything, either by the portfolio path or having your diploma from your level school that says, I've done everything, here you are, ICF, then you book in to do the exam through the application portal. And that exam can either be in a test centre local to you, or take a trip. I don't know, go abroad and do it, or online. So that's the last thing that gets done is the credentialing exam. And once you get your credential, I didn't know this, you get a pin badge. I mean, I used to be a brownie guide, and it just activated all of the excitement. I had an arm full of badges when I was a brownie guide. So you get an actual literal metal pin badge. I went straight to my PCC. I didn't do ACC. I went straight to level two. I got the pin badge. I'm waiting. It takes 6 weeks. I'm waiting for my MCC badge to arrive. Honestly, I'm beside myself. I can't wait. This may not be important to you, and that's okay too. Yay! I know. Thank you for that. Feeling the enthusiasm in the space. Okay. Now, there are also different types of hours. Well, yes, there are different types of hours there when you're training. There are core competency hours and there are resource development hours. Core competency hours, as the name suggests, are hours where you are learning stuff that is aligned with, is mapped to the ICF core competencies code of ethics definition of what coaching is. So they're mapped to the ICF frameworks. And when you go for your credentialing, you need all of your hours, and we'll talk about how many hours you need for each of the credentialing levels in a minute. All of the hours need to be core competency hours. There are other hours available, and they are called resource development hours. So they could still be within a training course. They could still be within a levels training course or a CCE training course. I have some resource development hours where people are learning about relationships and topics that are useful when you're a coach, but they're not tied to the core competencies. So they're extra training hours, if you like, around different topics relevant to the area that you are specializing in. So 100% of your hours are core competency. If you've got resource development hours, great, you've got some bonuses there. The delineation between these types of training hours becomes more important when we're talking about credential renewals. Remember, we said earlier that after 3 years, you need to renew your credentials. So when you're renewing your credentials, you need to get 40 CCEs. Okay. And there's a percentage that you need to have. So 24 of those 40 have to be core competency hours, and 16 can be resource development. You could do 40 hours of core competency if you want to, but what it's saying for renewals is at least 24 of those hours, of which 3 must be the ethics, and you can do the free ethics course on the ICF website. So you can do a 3-hour training course for free on the ICF website that gives you those 3 ethics hours that you need for renewal. So really, the difference between core competency and resource development only becomes relevant, if you like, when you are renewing. I'm just checking the chat to see if there's any question. You never got an ACC badge. That is not allowed. You need to instantly send an email. That's not good. Total for the 3 years. Yes. Yeah, I know. 40 hours of training of CCEs over the 3 years. Yes. And you can do it all in the last month if you want, or you can do it over the 3 years. And if you are a member of ICF, then if you've got membership of the ICF, then there's lots of courses in there that you can get for free. Obviously, they're not free because you're paying your membership, but free that you can access to do those 40 CCEs. My course. It's no accident that my course is 40 CCEs, because I do have people who are renewing their credentials and they want just one course. So 2 months, one course, 40 CCEs, boom, and you're trained as a relationship coach. What's not to love? Obviously, other courses are available depending on your interests. So, are you still with me? Are we there? Put it into the chat. Yes, maybe, no. Are we there? Are we there? How are we doing? Are we all right? Are we doing it? Is it happening? Are we in? Are we on? Okay, great. Anybody out there? Fabulous. Yes. Yes, keep the questions coming as well. Oh, we've got someone who is angelic. Excellent. I love that. Credentialing paths. There are 2 paths. I mentioned these a little bit earlier. There is the levels path and the portfolio path. The levels path, you get that when you sign up to a school. It's got a little button on it that says level 1 or level 2 or level 3. That's where you're accessing your training. or you follow the portfolio path where you are collecting the CCEs. So, for example, my course would be you'd be doing the portfolio path. If you're following the training path, the levels path, you've got your education, it's all in there. You're doing it apart from the exam. Remember, the exam is the last thing you do, and ICF gives you the link to do the exam once you've done everything else. So, quite often, newer coaches will go to a school, a level school. Everything, all the education hours you've got are pre-approved by ICF. It's all done for you. There's less admin. It's all aligned with ICF core competencies. They are an ICF accredited, remember that word? ICF accredited school. Great, fabulous, boom, done. Or sometimes with more experienced coaches who've been doing it for years and years, they've got lots of other courses. They might have courses that are not ICF courses, but could go towards their getting their credential, right? As long as those courses you can map on the course evidence of ICF core competencies, it doesn't matter if that course that you've taken 20 years ago in coaching was not an ICF course. If you can map the course syllabus to the core competencies, you can use it for your portfolio path. Yay. I mean, that's another bonus, right? Any training you've done could be of value. It doesn't expire. So if you did training, I had someone who signed up and they had done training 30 years ago as a coach, that they can still use that training towards their portfolio path credentialing, which is great that these things don't expire. Only we expire. Fees, credentialing fees. So this is all on the ICF website. It is more expensive if you are not an ICF member. What I did is I went straight to my PCC and I saved joining until I applied for my PCC. I didn't save more than I spent for that year's enrollment for that year's sign up fee, but it knocked off a little bit. And what I realized is I should have signed up to ICF way before, because there's so much training in there that opened up to me. And I was like, I love being in ICF. Why didn't I do that sooner? And also, it shows dedication. I can put on my website that I am an ICF global member. I also signed up to the ICF UK Charter chapter because I trained in America, online in America, and I wanted to be connected to, and I was connected to lots of lovely American coaches. And I also wanted to explore being connected to UK coaches. So I joined that. That's 50 quid a year for membership on the ICF credentialing, sorry, the ICF membership for a UK membership. Just checking the chat. If you are collecting CCE points before you get ACC, do they count, or must you get them between ACC and PCC? Yeah, I've got that on a slide. Thank you for bringing that up at this point. Any questions, pop them in the chat. You can add them. So once you've done your 60 hours for your ACC, you then need to do 125 for your PCC. It doesn't reset. So you add on to those 60 hours for your ACC. Does that answer your question? If not, let me know in the chat. Wow. So a small business, just reading the chat, course on being a counsellor might be counted if it maps to the ICFC. Yes. A small business administration course on being a counsellor might be counted if it maps to the ICF core competencies. Yes, it might. Go back on the syllabus, have a look, see if you can make it work, put your case to ICF, and it may well count. I need to turn my light on. It's gone very dark, but hopefully you're just looking at the screen. It's really dark here. I forget. We need the clocks to change quickly. So those are the fees there. And then when it comes to MCC, there's only one fee. The reason that there's only one fee, I mean member and non-member fee, is that everything essentially is a portfolio path. I can go into that more if that doesn't make sense to you, but just, with the first two levels, you can either choose portfolio path or training school path. It's a little bit different with MCC. I can go into that if you're interested or if you've got time. So, requirements for all credential levels. There are 5 requirements. The training hours, So these could be, as we know, coach specific education hours or CCEs. The coaching hours. The coaching hours can be individual or group coaching. I'll talk about that in a moment. Performance evaluation is basically the recording. It's the assessed coaching recording, but either by the school or by ICF. So remember, if you're doing it through a level, your school will look at your recording. If you're doing it through a level school, if you're doing it through the portfolio route, ICF is going to look at your recordings. Mentoring, it's 10 hours for all levels and exam. So let's go into those in a little bit more detail. Okay. So your training hours. These are your training hours. I just need to put the light on because I can't see my clock. And it's fundamental, really. There we are, back in the room. Fantastic. Oh, we're doing well. 1:30. Great. I was like, I can't see the time because I'm on full screen and I can't see. Okay, we're sorted. Fantastic. So, training hours. These are either coach specific education hours or CCEs, 60 hours for your ACC, 125 hours for your PCC, 200 hours for your MCC. And as somebody beautifully asked earlier, and we now know, numbers don't reset after gaining each credential. It's a rolling stock. So you can add on the hours. So the first, you can add it all up. Your training hours don't expire. I talked about that before. So you can apply for credential training stuff that you completed years ago. In terms of the routes, you could do ACC and then move on to PCC and then MCC. Or you might stop at ACC. They're all great. Now, although, and this is what I talk about in my training, although ICF call them levels, and although I am a level 3 MCC, I love all levels. I don't grade levels. Yes, there is a natural graduation process as you work through training, coaching at an ACC level, coaching at a PCC level, coaching at an MCC level. But let's take away this kind of snooty, oh, that means you're coaching on a higher plane. No, I use ACC coaching, I use PCC coaching, I use MCC coaching. My students see me coach every week live. And so they have an opportunity to see me doing some ACC questions, some PCC questions, some MCC questions. So if you coach at ACC and that's the credential you get, brilliant. You're probably doing a bit of PCC and MCC as well. You could skip ACC. That's the only thing that you could do. So you could decide, I'm not going to go for my ACC. I'm going to go straight to PCC and then stop there. Or you can then go PCC to MCC. The reason that I didn't do my ACC and then PCC is because I wasn't desperate for a credential. And I also didn't want to pay twice, because you have to pay for everything. And then 2 years later, or however long it takes you to get your hours, you've got to pay for it again. And I was like, not desperate for a PCC or a credential of any sort at the moment. Happy to wait. Want to save some money. So I went straight to PCC and then MCC. You can't go straight to MCC. That's one thing that you can't do. You do have to have a PCC. You have to have a PCC. So you can't go ACC, MCC. All right. You have to have a PCC to get your NCC. Should you so wish, don't have to, up to you. Coaching hours. So you count your coaching hours. This is you coaching somebody else. You count them from the day you start your ICF coach training, which is annoying if you've been working in a company for 20 years and you've probably coached 3,000 hours worth of coaching, but you haven't signed up to an ICF coach training. And that includes CCE course or a levels course. And it's like, oh, this is so annoying. Yes, that is annoying. That is annoying. So yeah, that's when you can start counting. ACC, you do 100 coaching hours, PCC 500, MCC 2,500 hours. There is a percentage that need to be paid. What ICF call paid is also an exchange. So if you are doing an exchange with a student, you're coaching them, they're coaching you, then that's a paid hour. You both have a paid hour because you've coached each other. A paid hour could be 1 pence. they give you 1p or $1 or 1 cent or whatever it is. That is still a paid hour. It could be that you are receiving something. So when I was learning how to coach, I was calling on people that were in my network, and I had a friend who was well, they still are quite a well-known comedian, and I was coaching them, and the exchange was they gave me access to their comedy course, which was great. So they were all paid hours. That was lockdown. I was learning how to be funny, and they were learning how to do their life better. So with ACC, those 100 hours have got to be with a minimum of 8 clients. With PCC, a minimum of 25 clients. MCC, 35 clients. I hope you're getting the point that you need to be not good at documenting, but just you need to focus on documenting. You need to be writing down the name, the date, how long you coached them for, whether it was paid or unpaid, and you have to get their written permission to have them on this log. You do not submit the log to ICF. You tick a box that says, I've done the coaching hours, and ICF might audit you. I've never been audited. I've never actually talked to anybody who's ever been audited. If anyone's ever been audited, let me know. Put it in the chat. They could audit you and they could say, we need to see your log. In which case, of course, you need permission from your clients to have that log submitted to ICF. You don't need their full name, birth date, social security number. You just need first name, email address, the hours, the date, how long you coach them for, basically. So make sure you've got your records in order. If you are coaching a team, I mentioned this earlier, if you're coaching a team, you count the actual hour or hours that you are coaching. So if you coach 10 people for 1 hour, it's 1 hour of coaching, not 10 hours. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind if team coaching is something that you do in your work. The performance evaluation. This is the recording of you coaching a client that says that you have achieved that level. And your mentoring, which I'll talk about in a minute, your mentoring hours are there to support you in learning how to coach at that level, whether it's level 1, level 2, or level 3. That's what that mentoring, one of the things that mentoring is for, to support you in succeeding with your performance evaluation. Remember, the performance evaluation, it is your recording of you with working with a client. If you're in a level school, level 1, level 2, level 3, they will be looking at your performance evaluation and they will be saying, yes, passed, great. And that's, and we'll make sure that that's on your diploma. You take the diploma over to ICF. If you're not in a level school and you're getting your CCEs, and you've got your performance evaluation, you send your recording to ICF because it's your portfolio route. That's one of the reasons why the portfolio route is more expensive, because of course ICF then had to find someone to listen to your performance evaluation. Sort of makes sense. With your ACC, it's 1 recording. With PCC and MCC, it's 2 recordings. They can be with the same client or different clients. With the assessment, as I've said, with ACC and PCC, you can get assessed either by the levels, school, or if you're taking portfolio path, then it's by ICF. With MCC, it has to be ICF. So that's where it's a bit different with the performance evaluation. Your 2 performance evaluations for MCC get submitted with your application to ICF and they look at them. So a lot of people, I was lucky, but I also invested a lot of time, energy, and emotion in getting my performance evaluations. I passed both first time, which is rare. You can have one, if you fail one, whether it's MCC, ACC, PCC portfolio route, that's okay. You don't need to submit 2 again. You failed one, you need to submit another one. So I passed both of those first time. Yay me. If you fail, as I say, you can submit them again and it costs more money. I think it's $150 or something every time you resubmit. Just going back to the chat, checking up. I don't know if I heard this, a coaching hour. What is the requirement to call it an hour? An entire 60 minutes, or is it defined differently? Yes, thank you for asking that. I shall add that to the PowerPoint because that's a really good question. A coaching hour is 60 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So if you are coaching a client for 45 minutes, then in your log, you will log 45 minutes. If you're coaching them for 65 minutes, then you log 65 minutes and you do the whole. I mean, if it's on a spreadsheet, you might be able to, it does, it adds up as you're going through. That for me was really exciting as I was working towards my MCC because there's a lot of hours and it was getting closer and closer and closer. So, you might have that on your spreadsheet with your clients with this recording. Make sure it's a real client that you've worked with for a while. Now, I caveat this second point, avoid using another coach in your training school. That doesn't mean you can't, but if you're coaching a coach and your coach is talking about coachly things, then ICF is not going to be best pleased. So to help yourself, you need to be coaching somebody on topics other than how can I get more clients for my coaching business, right? You need to be talking about other topics. This is good for you as a coach and it's good for them because they're talking about other things as well. So I'm not saying you absolutely can't. What I am saying is that they are a client. They are not a someone who's supporting you to get your credentials. Obviously they are supporting you to get your credentials, if that makes sense. The length of the performance evaluation can be from 20 minutes to 59 minutes long. Yes, you can. One of my MCC recordings was 27 minutes. So yes, you can do an intense session for 20 minutes. If it's more than 59 minutes, they won't listen to it. So it really does have to be not an hour. And I did an MCC recording that was really good and it was 61 minutes and you can't submit it. I'll submit it. It won't be looked at. Can you provide, I'm going into the chat, can you provide a scenario of group coaching? Do all the clients share information in front of each other? Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So group coaching, although I'm calling it group coaching, it might also be team coaching. So team coaching is where you go into an organization and you're coaching a team. Group coaching is generally where you've got a sort of disparate group of people and they're coming together, particularly for maybe a topic. So I've done group coaching for relationship coaching. I've said, right, we're going to have a 90-minute session. The topic is on jealousy, for example. I did TED Talk, Survivor's Guide to Jealousy. Check it out. We're going to talk about jealousy. I'm going to sort of frame the session a little bit, and then I'm going to do 10-minute coaching sessions with each of you present. That might be a way of doing some group coaching. Or you might ask general coaching questions to the whole group, and then people respond as and when. So there are lots and lots of different ways. There is a credential you can get for coaching, team coaching. There is a team coaching credential that you can get. So yes, if ask me more about that. I'm happy to talk about that after when we finish to do with the group coaching if you're interested in learning more about that. We've got another question. How heavily are assessors using AI for our recordings at all? Can you speak on AI used in assessing sessions, pro or con? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know because I'm not an ICF assessor. I am a mentor, so I do help people with their performance evaluations that they then submit for their credentials. What I can say is that Ray Notes, RAE Notes, it's a website, check it out. It will look, it is specifically for coaching recordings. You can upload your recording onto Ray Notes, RAE Notes. And there is so say for example, and it's not, I mean, it costs, say you were going to upload a 40-minute recording. It will transcribe it for AI as part of the fee. You don't have to be a member of Ray Notes. It links up with your Zoom. So if you've got a recording on Zoom, you can, obviously you need to get permission from your clients in advance. You can just link it up with your Ray Notes account. You set up a free account with Ray Notes and it will then suck it out and put it into Ray Notes. And what Ray Notes does is it takes the recording, It creates a transcript automatically, which of course you need to submit a transcript with your performance evaluation if you're submitting it to ICF, and it will do an AI assessment. When I first started using Ray Notes a few years ago to now, I mean, leaps and bounds in terms of how it assesses the 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 recording. Oh, and it says, yes, this would actually be a good recording for ACC, MCC, PCC. So it's got really good. So whether the examiners use it or not, I don't know how much they use it. Do you personally think AI is accurate, or is a human assessment better? Personally, okay, so you're asking me personally. I would want both. Personally, because I'm a dork and I want it all. So I wouldn't have, for my MCC, for example, which I can talk to because it's current. For my MCC, yes, I put everything through Ray Notes and I looked at it and thought about it and went and did my own work on it as well. And also, I paid a huge amount of money for an MCC, a mentor, because I wanted that person to have heard it and I wanted their feedback as well. So personally, I think it's really good as a tester. But if you want to do a final, which you have to do anyway, because you've got to have one-to-one sessions with your mentor, I would always use a human as well. But I think it's a good starting point. Yeah. Okay. You are welcome. Any questions? All and any are welcome. Mentoring. So this is your mentors are trained to look at your coaching sessions. When I say trained, at the moment, mentors need to have certain credentials, which is at the bottom of that slide there. Some mentors go above and beyond, like me, and they do what is called the ICF PCC marker training. What is that, Ali? Assessors are looking for it's PCC markers. PCC markers are similar to the core competencies, right? There are 8 core competencies. There are 8 PCC markers. It's supposed to take 40 hours. It took me 60 hours of my life I'll never get back. There is a 40-hour course, 40 CCEs, a 40-hour course that you can do to be an ICF PCC. Basically, it helps you assess recordings. Not all mentors need to do that. If you want a mentor who has done it, then look for someone who says that they are a PCC mentor assessor certified mentor. Snappy little title. Yes. So anyway, mentors look at your recordings either live or as a recording. It may be that you bring a client to a mentor session. Great, you can do that, and they can look at it there and then. I do that. If you want to access the AH Coaching and Training community platform, then you can come to coaching sessions, mentor sessions in there. And sometimes people will bring a human into the session, and sometimes they will bring a recording. Each is great. What I say as your mentor is, if you are bringing a recording, you give it to me in advance, I can look at it and you'll get more in-depth feedback. Just stands to reason, because I'm going to spend some more time on it. Whereas if you're bringing a human, that is absolutely fine. You will get my instant spot on feedback, but you won't get as much depth because I'm doing it off the cuff. So that's available in terms of me. And they'll provide the feedback depending on what level that you are working at. So if you are all mentoring level, all mentoring has to be 10 sessions, whether you are whatever your credential level is. At least 3 of them need to be one-to-one mentoring sessions. I do one-to-one mentoring sessions. That is available if you're interested. And then the remainder can be one-to-one. You can do 10 one-to-one sessions if you want. For my MCC, I did 30. Because that's how I roll. It takes time. You can do more than 10 if you want to. So the remainder of your 10, so at least 3 need to be one-to-one mentoring sessions that you book with your mentor, and then the rest can be group. So 7 could be group. Financially, obviously, it's cheaper to do group, to sign up for group mentoring sessions rather than one-to-ones. My one-to-one mentoring sessions are 175 quid. My group mentoring is 65 quid. So it's a significant difference. What you have to do with your 10 sessions is they have to be spread over 3 months, and you can use several mentors. Make sure that you record the name, the date, and the email of your mentors. Again, when you are applying for your credential with ICF, it's a tick box to say, yes, I've got my 10 mentoring hours. They will then ask you to, what's the person, what's their email, what's their details. I have had people that I've mentored who have obtained their credentials and I haven't had an email from ICF. And I've also had people who I have mentored. They've gone for their credentials and I've had an email from ICF saying, did you mentor this person on these dates? So it seems to be hit and miss. Sometimes ICF will chase up the mentoring hours to check that you really did them. Sometimes they won't. And your mentor needs to have a credential. So if you are going for your ACC, you need to have at least an ACC mentor who's had one renewal. So they need to have had that need to have had their credential for at least 3 years, gone through that renewal, or they can be PCC or MCC. If you're going for your PCC, they have to be PCC or MCC. If you're going for your MCC, your mentor has to be an MCC. Just seeing questions. Let's check out the questions. Are mentoring hours the same as coach supervision hours? No. Good question. Coach mentoring hours are where your mentor is looking at your recordings, or in a group situation, someone is having their recording looked at and you're observing having that recording looked at. Okay. Supervision is where you are being given support with your business, with your clients, with your coaching, with your personal development. Supervision is a reflective practice. It is an opportunity for, I'm a supervisor, and I also do group supervision. And I work for a British company as well and do supervision for them as an associate group supervisor. So I know a lot about supervising. So supervision sessions are where you're bringing a case study, for example. How do I deal with this ethical dilemma? I get a lot of that with supervision. Or I really want to work on my credentials. Can you go through them with me and can you help? Your supervisor will coach you and also educate you and also, provide you with ideas and support and ways that they have worked for them that might work for you. So they're there for advice and guidance. Your supervision might be to celebrate. It can be lonely as solopreneurs, and you just want someone who understands these coaching wins that you've had in your business and with your clients. Your supervisor understands that. So that might be, I've had a supervisor for 4 years, and I see them once a month. Yes, they're expensive. Yes, they're worth every single penny because it helps me remain accountable for my business, my clients, me as a human being. So, what you can do with your supervision hours, if you are renewing, so remember you need to do 40 hours of renewal if your credential expires after 3 years. 10 supervision hours can go towards those 40 hours, right? So if you're renewing your credentials, you can use supervision hours, which is great. As someone who is, question here, as someone who is pursuing ACC, can any PCC coach count as my mentor? Yes. Yeah. Is there any qualifications they need to be called a mentor? No. They just need to have that credential. If you super nerdy, then make sure that they have got the PCC marker assessor training because it's more in depth. It's in depth. Yeah. So you might want to do that or not. It's up to you. If you like them, they like you, bring it on. And then finally, the exam. So once you've done all of those things, you submit it all to ICF, whether you are submitting all the bits and pieces because it's a portfolio, or whether you're submitting the certificate, the certification or diploma saying, yeah, level 1, here's all the information. I've done it already with my training school. Once you've submitted that to ICF, they'll go, great, fabulous. Here's a link to the exam. So there are 2 types of exams. One exam at the moment, and this is constantly changing, and at the moment they're thinking of developing a exam that is just for MCCs. At the moment, today in this year, we've got an ACC exam, which is called the ICF ACC Credential Exam, 60 questions in 90 minutes. And that's a knowledge-based multiple choice questions. And then we've got the ICF Credentialing exam, so termed. It used to be called the Knowledge Skills Assessment, KSA. It used to be called KSA. It keeps changing every few years, which is fine. Great progress. Love that. At the moment, it's ICF Credentialing exam. It's the same if you're going for your PCC or your MCC. So when I took my PCC a few years ago, and then I took my MCC on the 1st of January. It was this, I mean, I can't remember it, but it was the same exam. 78 questions in 180 minutes. It's intense. And they are what they call situational judgment questions. So this is where you are given a scenario, a coaching scenario, and you're given 4 options of what the coach should do, and you choose the best option and the worst option. I'm collaborating on a webinar with my friend Paloma, who has just got their ACC credential exam in the last month or so. They're going to be talking about the ACC exam. I'm going to be talking about the PCC/MCC exam. There is a free webinar coming up for anyone who is in the platform. It will be lovely to talk about that a little bit. What's next? This is your last slide. Look at the time. We've done well. If you want to, you can join the AH Coaching and Training community. It's a platform. It's off social media. You get access to reduced fee group mentoring, 65 quid per session. I don't know if you can find anything cheaper than that. Let me know. I might even match it if you find something cheaper than that. Reduced free group supervision. I know you can't find group supervision for less for 25 quid. I know it. It's usually 100, 200 pounds. Free webinars and resources, peer coaching opportunities, inclusive community of international coaches. Why is this too good to be true? Because we're building the platform. I am passionate about providing an inclusive, accessible, supportive platform. Without the money grabbing, you need to sign up to this, you need to have this, you need to have that. Yes, I'm a business. Of course, I need to sustain my, life. But I want to be able to provide, I am providing a space already because we started in September. So that's your offering, should you so wish. I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to stop the recording, and we will then go to any questions that you have. Thank you so much. Where are you at? Where are you at? Thumbs up, thumbs down.